Hi friends, thanks for joining me. Today I am working on a masterboard. It's going to be a simple masterboard, but nevertheless a masterboard. And I'm going to create it, and then I'm going to cut it up and turn it into tags. So I wanted to share with you the things that I am using that I received from PandaHall Selected. I had received some artificial silk flowers, the alloy lobster claw clasps, and you saw me use those 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday for one of my tassels on Tassel Tuesday. I also ordered the plastic painting stencils, and I'm going to be using 2 of those today. And then I also ordered the nail art stickers, and those are also good for resin, but I ended up using them on one of my tags. Maybe 2 of my tags actually, now that I think of it. And I really enjoyed having something tiny, like tiny pieces of art that I could use for real detail. So that was kind of fun. I wasn't sure if I was going to use them on my nails or use them in my art, but I thought either way it was good, and they ended up working out great. Now I will have the links to all of the PandaHall Selected items, and I will have those linked in my description box. I will also have their website and all of their socials in my description box as well. There is also a coupon code in my description box. The code is creatingwithjovi, and that would be no spaces in between the words, and you would get $6 off of your order over $59. That coupon code is good until November 25th, 2022. All right, so let's talk about the fun that we are having with stencils. So I chose a piece of scrapbook paper that had a very soft image on it of trees. Kind of the trees are down near the bottom of the paper, and then the rest is sky, and I thought it would be perfect to put this bird stencil over it with these branches. And I just thought, you know what, let's just do this. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how it turns out. Now, it would have been safe for me to go ahead and simply use stamping inks, but I decided I wanted to live a little bit dangerously and use some acrylic paints. Now I am using a stippling brush, and it's actually one of the ones that I showed in a haul that I did recently. And on the reviews, this particular one that I showed in the haul, somebody had said that it sheds, and I thought, well, when I use it, I'll let you guys know if it does in fact shed. And yes, it does. I continued to use it, however, and every now and then a hair came out, but I used it, and I think the art turned out really good. I'm absolutely in love with how this sheet turned out. I'll pull the stencil off in just a minute and show you the completed sheet. And off camera, I went ahead and did a second one, and I will show you the completed sheet of that as well. And while I'm thinking about it, I want to share with you on the second one, I used it's like this glitter glue, but you use it for clothing, and it just was in my stash, and I thought, you know what, let me just see if that'll work. So I put it over in some of the stencil areas. I put it there, and then when I pulled the stencil off and I let it dry, and it worked. So just so that you guys know, you can use fabric paint on your paper as well. I don't know if you knew that or even thought of it, but it worked for me. So pictures of them are coming up in just a second. This is the first one that I did. And this is the second one that I did, and I love them both. Looking at them both, I realized that I could leave them as is and use them as scrapbook pages. I could use them as journal pages. They're beautiful. I love them. But I'm going to go ahead and choose the pink one, and I'm going to cut that up and turn them into tags. After I cut them, I went ahead and used my corner rounder and rounded the edges. Now it's time for the really fun part. Well, the stenciling was fun, I have to admit it, but now it's time for the second fun part, and that is to take our tags and decorate them. Now friends, I am still adjusting to my new craft area and my setup. I am kind of like a work in progress, and so I can see that I'm working near the bottom of my table. I will have to make adjustments for that in the future and make sure that I'm doing all of my work on camera, but I want to apologize for that. On the first tag that I'm working on, I have decided to do a tag on a tag. So I've got the pocket on the outside of the tag, and that is the one that you'll see in the upper left hand side of the screen. And then what I'm working on down here at the bottom middle is the smaller tag that's going to slide into that pocket. Now I plan on using the nail art stickers or the resin stickers on this small tag because I think the scale will go nicely together. So I tore some scrapbook paper, and so you can see that on the edges, and now I'm going around with my silver marker and I'm just inking the edges with it, and then I'm putting a little bit of detail on those torn edges as well. Friends, I usually record with my camera, but I did this project with my phone, and so I missed recording the part where I applied the stickers to that little tag. But I will give you a close-up near the end of the video, and I want you to see it because I absolutely love how that tag looks. Now I'm adding some of the stickers to the little pocket, and I'm just putting them in the corners just to add some small details to it. We are going to move on to our next tag, and I am going to use some of the beautiful silk flowers that I received from PandaHall Selected, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere them with Fabri-Tac, but I wanted to let you know on the back of the flowers there's like this little stem part, and I'm just snipping that off with my scissors so that they'll lay a little bit flatter. And then actually, as my project progressed, I ended up snipping some of them even further down, and it was fine to do that because the Fabri-Tac ends up holding everything together. Many of you know that I use clothespins to keep things in place when I'm waiting on glue to dry, and I use clothespins because they have a nice long reach, so that I find that to be really helpful. Also, they're inexpensive and they are biodegradable because they're made of wood. Now we are working on our mixed media tag number 3. I think I talked to you guys about wanting to play with some mixed media a little bit more in 2022 if I have time, but I would like to do that. And so I thought today, using the stencils and then using some other items, you know, stuff that I don't always work with, it'd be a nice experiment to do some mixed media, but on sort of a small scale. I would consider this to be starting out lightly, if you will. You know, I'm using the stencil, I'm, you know, tearing some paper and using that, adding some, like this is an image from scrapbook paper. You know, just kind of taking it nice and easy, using some stickers, the little nail art stickers, and, you know, starting small so that I don't feel overwhelmed with the idea of mixed media and with all of the options that there are for mixed media. Now the pieces that are in the corners of this tag, in the upper left corner and then the lower right corner, that was a mixed media piece given to me by one of my friends. If that was you, feel free to let me know and I'll tag you in my description box. So I've got those in the corner. Then I went ahead and used a scrapbook piece with a butterfly and a flower on it. I thought that went with everything really nicely. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some of the beautiful silk flowers to this tag. Now that all of the flowers are dry on this tag, I'm going to go ahead and add some of the small stickers to add some details to this bird cage. And I have chosen 3 pink flowers and I'm going to put those across the top. I'm also going to go ahead and add some little yellow ones near the yellow flower. Alright, coming up, you're going to see the tags that I finished, and you will also see some of the cut tags that I have not embellished yet, but they're ready to go. And look, most of them are so pretty, I wouldn't even need to, but they're a beautiful base if I want to. So I wanted to make sure that I showed those to you. I had so much fun using the stencils and then adding to them. I love the way that these tags came out. So I'm going to have some still shots for you so that you can see each one individually as well. If you look at the middle tag, the one with the little tag that comes off of it, I love the little lights hanging and then the owl in the center. On this one, notice the 3 little flowers at the top of the bird cage. I think that looks so pretty. I love everything about this one, and I forgot to mention that I went back and I added some flat back pearls and gems to each one of them. Well, friends, thanks for watching. See you soon.